Make sure everyone's able to join. Are we good? Okay. So welcome everyone to this special gathering. We're honoring Dr. Larry Ward, who is a great Dhamma teacher. I call him a great Dhamma lion. He's really I think in the spirit of I was thinking that in Sanskrit they call it Dhamma Banaka, which is the great Dhamma preacher. And I think he's inspired all of us who are on this call today with his stirring words and unique mix of deep Dhamma teaching with Baptist roots. And we're especially here to honor Larry's poetry, which has recently come out. I have a print copy, Morning Night, here, or sorry, printed off in my own printer. But I think Peggy is picking up if you can get the print on demand book. So Deer Park we're hosting this together with the Lotus Institute. We have Peggy Rowe, Larry's life companion, and as well as Sister Peace together. Are you guys in Rhode Island, or where are you?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. And we have Celeste Ferguson, I think, from the Lotus Institute as well. We just met. And Sarah Lane, our communications director here at Deer Park. And so we're very happy to welcome everyone for this gathering. We thought we'd start with a short sit so we can find a comfortable position. And you may, if you're on a chair, you might like to put your feet flat on the floor. And I like to have my back off the back of the seat, just to remember that I have muscles in my back that I can, on my own weight, hold my body upright, and then allow the front to be soft. Just allow the breath to come in and out naturally. So we'll start with just 3 sounds of the bell, and then maybe a little bit of guiding words, and then we'll finish also with 3 sounds of the bell. This is a short meditation to honor Larry's presence with our own presence, with our breath, with our body. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I smile to my out breath. In, out. breathing in, I feel joy to be alive, right here and right now. Breathing out, I smile to life within me and around me. Joy to be alive, smiling to life. Breathing in, I feel happy. I see that I have more than enough conditions to be happy, right in the present moment. Breathing out, I have nowhere to go and nothing to do. More than enough conditions to be happy, nowhere to go and nothing to do. So, may I like to open our eyes. Thank you for honoring Larry with your practice. You know, Tai used to say the best birthday gift is for Tai is to your own practice. And I think our greatest gift to continue Larry is our own mindful breathing and recognizing, especially the wonders of life. Larry always helps me remember, especially with his poetry, the wonders of every moment. Um, so I guess I pass to Celeste or Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother, and Deer Park for saying yes when we said, say, could we help launch Larry's book? And we heard from quite a few places, oh, we're too busy. But Brother Faplu said yes. So we're really grateful. Larry and I lived at Deer Park for some time. Larry was the one that bought the Deer Park property at the auction, and we were there many gatherings. I especially remember the first Christmas when so many people there had never heard Christmas carols. Um, and what a fun time we had there those Christmases. And I guess you're not doing one this year, darn it, huh? Well, let me begin. I can't assume that everybody knows who Larry is. So Sister Peace is going to say hello and read a poem that was written about who is Larry Ward. Anything you want to say?
No, this is a beautiful poem written by a Dr. Camilla Majid, who was a friend and student, fair to say, of our beloved Dr. Ward. And this is actually a gift to all of us because it's a beautiful rendering of all that he is and continues to be in us. And so the name of it is A Song for Reverend Dr. Ward by Dr. Camilla Majid. You love the natural world and returned us to the trees and the seas, encouraging us to take our woes to the woods, to breathe this gift of air into our burdens, lifting them, to fly aloft on the winds of transmutation. You encouraged us to plant seeds of kindness and courage always. Emerging from this earth in this lifetime as a Black Bodhisattva, an African ancestor carrying the jibi of justice in your jaw. You are forever an exemplar of Anitana, as you endured a lifetime of racism with Upeka in a way that showed us how to face the world before us now. Like Venerable Vimalakirti, you used illness as a symbol of what could be transcendent, laughing with us in joie de vivre. You were triumphant over the pains racking your body. You knew yourself to be a sacred being first, one whose spirituality could not be confined to only one religious understanding of our limitless capacities. You knew that enlightenment is augmented by knowledge of all spiritual paths. As a teacher, your range was vast. You could tie the bell chant to bell hooks. You eased our souls even in silence. With your very being grounded in your Dharma body, you exuded compassion, embodying the inherent compassionate life force of the universe itself. Reverend Dr. Ward, you were a sagacious, wise sovereign who ruled over his own mind and heart. What a wonder that is, to be the master of your own life through countless moments of skillful self-regulation. You defeated racism with your heart. You defeated greed with your soul. Our friend, this king, has won, and his victory shines right there. See it? It's the light flickering through the tears in our eyes. May we weep always with joyful remembrance, refreshing ourselves in the rivers of wisdom you led us to.
Thank you, sister. Anything you want to say about that?
I think it's a beautiful representation of Larry, and two things about it stand out for me. One is she calls it a song for Reverend Dr. Ward. The second thing is, as Peggy has said many times, this really puts into the universe the sense that he was a reverend and a doctor. And we forgot to put that together. And I think it's a beautiful honoring of, well, there are many facets to our beloved, as I would say, my brother, for the Reverend Dr. Larry Ward.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Larry was very humble. Those of us that know Larry was very humble. I think he would have gotten a kick out of this, especially coming from Camilla, who is from the Caribbean, and she's like an African American Caribbean goddess. And just love her. But thank you for that beautiful reading. The Reverend Doctor, I think, was what the African American community highlights, that often with a white body community, I'd have to correct Larry's vita when we taught. They'd say he was a Christian minister, and I was adding, no, he is a Christian minister and a Buddhist minister. And he was not confused that it was never was. And Brother Faplu, you named what helped Larry have peace with this. It was in the Lotus Sutra when he discovered the Dharma preacher. And he said, there I am. There I am. I can be a Dharma preacher. It's in the Lotus Sutra. And that he was. So thanks for coming together. And those of us in person, it's a mega full moon tonight. And it's very, very clear. And I hope some of you have some clear skies. We did last night. This night here, it's cloudy. But I like to think that the full moon is gracing us as we dip a little bit into the largest and the brightest, 37% clear,
That's right.
whatever that means. What does it mean to be 37% clear? Larry's name that he was given by Thich Nhat Hanh was True Great Voice, and it was also translated as True Great Sound. There's the True Great Sound in this house, Mr. Tashi. Shh. But Larry used to sing when he taught, and the last 4 or 5 years of his life, he wasn't able to sing. And so that's when we moved more into True Great Sound and this expression of his teachings that came out through poetry rather than his singing voice. And in this booklet, the art in the booklet is also art by Larry. The cover, the back, there's different pieces in the book. 'Cause he also expressed himself with paint and color when he couldn't use his voice. And I was so reminded of Thich Nhat Hanh, who the last so many years of his life, it was his presence that was teaching us, not his voice, but his presence was such a bell. You saw that with Ty too, that he did not stop teaching. Everywhere he went, it was his presence that was teaching. Okay, you want to check the boy? Yeah, so we wanted to share a few poems. We wanted to share about how this came about with the writing. And I think the title was about writing a spiritual practice. There's 3 sections to the book, one on spirit, one on race, and one on nature. And Larry very much used nature as a profound way of healing his suffering. But he also used poetry writing as a way to heal and transform his suffering connected to race. And so, which one do you want first? Celeste, you want to read a poem?
All right, I will. All right, I'm going to read a poem from the race section, and it's called When I Became Currency. When they came for me, I tried to contain my fear. Heartbreak rattled my bones. These bones long for home, but the dance of my ancestors is still awake and alive. Sick in the bottom of a ship, becoming a dark currency, carried over the sea, sold and sold again, a commodity. Body of profit driven by greed, arrogance, and ignorance. Cold and beleaguered in a new land. I tried to forget such horror, but the looks and whispers, even to this day, remind me I am a class of color created by a colonial mind that was missing its self-worth. I live now beyond such limiting constructs of mind. I am free because I am not confused. I am stardust awake. I am the earth and sky embracing all. I ride the wind with the eagle and the hawk. I flow with the rivers into all oceans. I touch the sun and am touched by the moonlight like all beings. I am nature herself, awake, powerful, resilient, generative. I offer the love of all my ancestors to your ancestors and the ancestors of all beings. I offer my presence like rain falling on the wise and the unwise, the troubled and the untroubled, the just and the unjust. May wounds of time be healed.
Thanks, Celeste. I even find that title just shakes me when I was currency, and a powerful teaching for all of us. Do you want to add yours now? Or do you want to say something?
No, you should read one of his other ones.
I want to read another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot to take in. I think this is the one that's really working me right now, because I have to reinvent my life, and it's not so easy. I'm not young anymore, and I'm not as fresh as I'd like to be at this stage of my life of reinventing who I am. So this is called Enter Your Life. Enter your life like an epic poem. Ride the colors of change with the wind unattached. In the light of the coming and going of all things, savor the stars in the dark blue sky. Trust the sun in your heart to guide you home. Here between earth and sky, listen. Hear your footsteps in the leaves of time. Fix your gaze on the horizon of not yet, but stay in this moment and ask in this great symphony, what is my instrument? What is my music? What is my song? Surrender to this crucible's alchemy as it creates the mandala of your holy life. Cross the lake of life's mystery as a fearless swan, embodying grace, peace, and compassion as you head towards the distant shore. And as I've been practicing with this poem, many times I think we've all seen swans as they cross a body of water, and it's so smooth. And yet we know that beneath that water, we're not seeing all that work that's going on for that swan to cross that gracefully, to cross the distance, to cross the water. And so this is one of the poems right now that's been part of my practice. And to know also what's carrying me are my friends in the Sangha, my teacher who's very alive in me, and nature herself. Now that's what I wanted to share. Want to say anything about that, or
I don't. Does Fat Blue have anything?
Fat Blue? Do you want to have anything you want to add?
He might want to read one.
You want to read one? We're getting him to, yeah. Which one did you?
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, let's see. Be happy to read. What can I say about my beloved teacher?
Mm.
Can you hear okay? What can I say about my beloved teacher? I can say that the whisper of his voice is the dark night of confusion, fear, and sorrow. Sorry, let me start again. I can say that the whisper of his voice in the dark night of confusion, fear, and sorrow calls us home to our true selves. I can say that his teachings bring the Dharma rain, bathing us in healing energy in the blessed peace of our lives. I can say that his gentle footsteps ride on the winds of peace, the thunder of compassion, and reflect the moonlight of understanding. I can say that he tirelessly engages with his whole being in the noblest of causes to heal and transform the breaking waves of our shadows. I can say, I love my teacher because he has nourished the teacher in me to wake up, wake up, wake up. I can say that his practice, his prose, and his poetry speaks with the beauty and clarity of the Buddha within each of us. I can say that on this very day, we are most fortunate to be here together, to be in touch with the miracle of deep breath and the holy moment of awareness in which we are touched by that which is not coming and not going. Here we are together in the heart of Thich Nhat Hanh. Such a beautiful homage to Thai, and it speaks to Larry as well.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful reading of that poem. He's got two in the book to Thai. There are probably even more that he's written. But that's something for you students of Thai. I would encourage you to write your own love poem to Thai. Write your own love poem to your teacher. Write your own love poem, your ode, your epic poem to your life. One of Thai was in Larry was inspired. I think we were at the Foot of the Buddha retreat in Plum Village, 1991. Was that? I don't know. When was that? No, it was early. And Larry didn't sleep one night, and he was out walking, and he almost literally bumped into Thich Nhat Hanh. And Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Oh, you're not sleeping? How you doing?" He said, "You're not sleeping?" And Larry said, "No, I'm not sleeping." And Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Well, when I don't sleep, I write a book." And that was huge inspiration for Larry with his poetry writing, so that he'd catch himself when I'm not sleeping or something's not working, I will write a poem. And we have some friends here, Karen Hillsberg and Grace Franklin, who are online, that helped us dig them out. It was an archaeology project to find his poems, because they're kind of written everywhere on the sides of books and scraps of paper and journals and thises and that's. And we had boxes of paper that we went through to try to excavate and find these poems. And we have enough for another book. And right now, Karen and Grace are working on that. So those are two bodhisattvas behind the scene that have also fallen in love with Larry's poetry, and are helping make that happen. Do you want to say something, or Celeste, another poem there?
You want to set up the George Floyd one with resistance?
Oh, we want to set up the George Floyd one. Who's reading that? Celeste or sister? Is that you? It's sister. This is an example of how Larry used poetry as spiritual practice. And I can't imagine anybody that's in this room that wasn't struck dumb with the murder of George Floyd. And this is how Larry practiced with that. There's many poems that came out of his own spiritual practice with that horrifying event. of seeing someone murdered before our eyes with all these people watching in a traumatic freeze, I would say. This is what happens to our nervous system. But there was all these people watching as a man stopped breathing before us. And this is Larry's poem that came out of his spiritual practice with that event.
Mm. So the name of this poem is Somebody Stole My Face. It's my face, man. I tell you, somebody stole my face. I can't seem to stop this river of regret. Black face on the ground, black face in the cages, black face in chains, black face, no fun. I tell you, somebody stole my face. When I found it, it was dark, like the night's elegant beauty. When I found it, it was in a dreadful theater called The White Man's Burdens. When I found it, it was already condemned to live in a basket of lies. I tell you, somebody stole my face, my precious, precious face. I hold it in my hands, catching tears of sorrow and joy. I hold it with the kind hands of my ancestors. I hold it turning into many faces, appearing across time and space. I hold it dancing with the cosmos. In this face, the door of eternity swung open. I tell you, somebody stole my face, but I have a secret for you, my friend. Somebody stole your face too. I know you've been searching for it. It's in the time before time. Embrace your wholeness. Lift yourself, and all the rest of us go higher ground. And remember, every time you touch your face, George Floyd can no longer have that joy.
That one does deserve a bell. Brother Faplu, do you have a bell? I mean, they all do,
Yeah.
but thank you, brother. Thank you, sis. Got an echo. Sister, what do you want to say about what your discovery is in this moment?
Well, Peggy already preferenced how this tragedy affected all of us individually and collectively. And for me, I think it's so beautiful in the way that Larry was able to take the vision of George's face on the ground, being smashed and smothered. And to arc the time, in at least not just this country's history, of how we don't treat the perceived other justly or even humanely. And using the device of the face, I thought was particularly deep in so many ways and so many levels. So this one, as you can tell, certainly does move me to deep places.
Yeah, thanks, sister. Me too. Celeste, anything you want to add?
Every time I hear that poem, I always feel really moved and punched in my chest a little bit. But I think there's so many themes, themes of pain and trauma, racism, then also just like the collective healing of Black people as well. That always shines through to me, as well as just a spiritual journey of reclaiming yourself. Yeah, that always shows up for me when I hear this poem, and I'm always feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Celeste.
You're welcome. Peggy, I do think it's time for us to begin to move into Q&A.
Oh, okay. Or we can also call it Q and R.
Right.
Yeah, if anyone wants to read a poem.
Or
Yeah.
response. That'd be like response.
Right.
We're
Also, if they have the book and want to read a poem, we can add that
Yeah.
little twist in there too.
okay. Okay, thanks, Celeste. Yeah, so I think we got some helpers here. You can put your hand in front of your screen or use the hand up below.
I see our
Yeah.
dear Grace. There
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey there, Grace. She's one of our archaeologists.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably true for Karen as well, but we didn't just fall in love with the poems as we started doing this. We've been in love with this poetry for decades, as it emerged out of closets and napkins and Dharma talks. And you and Larry led a retreat it was during the COVID years, I think it was at the end of 2021. And I had this poem imprinted on my consciousness. And after that retreat, he read it during the retreat. It was just coincidental. So it's in the book, it's on page 35, and it's titled Peace. May I be on even terms with all that exists and does not exist, in touch with the original breath for all my days. May I be on even terms with the original breath as I walk among that which exists and does not exist in every moment. In this way, I may realize the liberation of my heart and mind as I attend the funeral of all my sorrows. At home, there is calm, still certainty. In peace, I am undisturbed by the coming and going of things great and small. Ah, the breath of equanimity. In so being moved, compassion, joy, loving kindness are my companions, life after life, blessing the world. I see, I see, I see. The Buddha smiled.
Thanks, Grace. Beautiful reading and beautiful poem.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for being one of the archaeologists. So thank you. Anybody else?
And please feel free to share any questions or shares in the chat as well. I'll read them aloud.
You can read it.
Yeah, I've got more poems I could read. It's kind of fun on a flow. There's a hand, Pete. Pete. Good seeing you, Pete.
Oh,
Yay.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Honoring Larry and you, Peggy and Lotus, as well as our dear teacher and ancestors. Still in love with life. I've been hurt by dreams tumbling down like great stones from the mountains of hope, cracking open my heart. Feeling like I'm losing everything, being ground up by the world of endurance. Tired, sad, and weary, my eyes overflowing with tears, I find myself wrapped in clouds of doubt. I was certain the moon stole my shoes. I searched everywhere over the green countryside, in crowded city streets, brown deserts, the snow-capped mountains. Even the dust of stars were empty. Meeting fury, coursing through pulsing veins, a silent illness when life did not go my way. In the softness of one holy night, the Dharma rain fell. My head was wet with the tears of heaven. The sky cleared. I looked down and discovered that my shoes had been on my feet all along. My pure heart and pure mind have not been crushed or destroyed by disappointment and hatred. My deepest desire is to be a poem and to live a prayer that encourages more love in this world.
Thanks, Pete. Beautiful reading. And how come you chose this poem?
I heard Larry recite a version of it on a retreat with the two of you years ago. And I love the way his poems were alive, that he continued to work on them, to revise them, that they were living and breathing and evolving just like our tradition, just like our own awakening. And the line about is to be a poem and live a prayer has been an inspiration to me. Obviously, that encourages more love in this world, but the idea of being the poem and living the prayer inspired me as a musician to embrace the whole world as music, which has kind of been a guiding light for me, that all is music. So it speaks really to my spirit and my heart, to a creative way of living, and our resilience and the capacity of dealing with the rage that's bulging through our veins, and not be crushed by the despair and hope, but to find a way not only through it, but to be illuminated by it and continue to soften and grow our heart. In the poem, that's our lives.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Pete. Thank you so much for offering that teaching with that beautiful poem. It's always been one of my favorites. How do we want to live our life? As a poem, as a song. And he wrote that a little bit after he was diagnosed with diabetes. And that was the silent illness that was raging through him. And that was one of his responses to that diagnosis of, and how he kind of settled, because that was a huge moment for Larry, because he grew up in the hood and he vowed to never have to use a needle. And then when he had to use a needle, it was 5 times a day at the start. Incidentally, he healed that. The last 5 years of his life, he was no longer a diabetic. He had other things wrong, but that was just so soul crushing to him because it was a soul promise he'd made. And when he was diagnosed, the doctor said, meet your ancestors. And so he had to work through that to also recognize, well, that's me. That's me. So what do I do with this? And what will my life be with the silent illness when life didn't go his way? So thank you. Beautiful reading, Pete. Thank you. Anybody else? And you want to say to that? No, you don't want to say anything to that. That was a beautiful teaching.
I'll read from the chat.
Okay, good.
Let's see here. Okay. Vivian shares.
Man.
Well, first I'll say, Peggy, we honor whatever feels right to you in responding to this. Vivian shares, I hesitate to ask this as it is emotional, but can you please share what Larry died of? Flores shares, Larry was such a gentle soul. It was a blessing to have had our paths cross in this lifetime. Flores and Bruce, San Diego. And Patricia shares, Lotus Institute website tells about Dr. Ward's illness. Would you like to share with everyone here since some of us don't know what he died of? That's all I see so far.
Okay. I can respond to that. He fell over getting dressed and died within minutes, and it appeared to be a heart attack. And I didn't need any more information than that. So we did not have an autopsy. We did not do any further investigation. But he'd been going downhill with a lot of things the last 5 years. We were really challenged with the state of our medical system in the United States and in many countries of the world, where we had inadequate health support. And the day he died, that afternoon, we had a doctor appointment we'd been trying to get for months. And that same week, we had a urologist appointment we'd been waiting for 5 months. So this was also part of our story the last 5 years, really with not in wonderful doctors and nurses. It's the system that is broken. So I really want us to all to hold that, to keep that in mind. These are really beautiful souls and caring people, but the system is broken in our country. And we are part of the tragedy of that broken system where we could not get help when we needed it. And that was a silent illness that ran through my veins. I really had to work with my own anger and rage with our inability to get help and our inability to get support. And the last 3 long distance moves we made where we were trying to get to a doctor that would help us. And that was not to be had. So we don't know what really did, but I can tell you it was a heart attack that day that he fell over that morning. Oh. Yeah.
Pat shares on page 28, the lamp poem has given me such comfort. Pat, would you like to come up and read? Radora shares, thank you, Peggy, for sharing your truth. Grace shares, we grieve with you, Peggy. Vivian shares, you have my deepest condolences, Peggy. Larry was such a wonderful person. I'm angry too that the medical system is so lacking. May I ask one more question? How old was he?
He was born in 1948. I'm dyslexic with numbers. You can do the math.
77.
77.
Is that right?
I don't know. I did one talk where I said he was 74, and a friend wrote me, he's not, he's older than that. He's older than me. I was like, I don't know. He was born in 1948. So you can figure that out. Is Pat going to read The Lamp or am I? This is one of my favorite poems. We still have to find the whole of this, Grace and Karen. There's more that didn't make the book. This is connected to my family, that when my dad retired, he fell in love with antique lighting and antique lamps. And there's an antique lamp that's called the end of day lamp. And that's just like a kaleidoscope. So it's the lamp that's made from whatever's left on the floor. And this was probably late 1800s. The lamp. Oh, and my folks had one, which was what we fell in love with when we saw this lamp. The most beautiful lamp I ever saw was made from pieces of glass left on the floor at the end of the day in the artist's workshop. The pieces sparkled, hidden until seen as a dance of color and light. With tender care, a full heart's hands reconstructed it, singing the brilliance of a new wholeness. Hey, you, on this day, look down at the floor of your life and your heart. See the pieces of glass. See the pieces of pain and joy lying on the floor, waiting for you. Do not be disheartened. With tender care and patience, take these pieces with the hands of a full heart. Take these pieces of your precious life and beauty make for yourself and for all. That's the lamp. We have,
Beautiful.
yeah.
We have about 4 more minutes.
Mhm.
Dear Flores, would you like to come up and read a poem from the nature section? Oh, I see Beth Johnson's hand is up. Okay, we can bring Beth up.
Here I am. Here I am. It
We
is
can't
good
see you.
Hello, you can't see me, my beloved Peggy, because I am in a car
Oh,
going to a meeting with a wonderful friend who's in Songs for Liberation, and I couldn't not be with you live. So I love you. And we are driving east and looking at the big full moon here in Chicago.
Wow.
wow. Well, thanks, Beth.
So yes, there are so many poems in this book. But the one that came up first, I'm reading the manuscript on my phone,
Mhm.
is Aging at the Well.
Mhm.
I am shocked at the well. My hands no longer grip the pump as firmly. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I can hear the water coming slowly and carefully. I receive it with grace. Every now and then I touch the realm of no fear. Pain in my legs brings me back to life. Our little life is big. Millions of ancestors, all marks of evolution, hanging around for a while, lifted up by love. Feeling my body waning, vanishing and appearing at every moment. Ancestors pushing me forward into stages of my precious life. Aging's grace and peace reside in me.
Mhm. Beautiful reading, my friend. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And thank you
Dear.
for your songs of liberation and Beth's a Unitarian minister that just loves to get arrested.
And Peggy loves to tell that.
I love seeing her on CNN getting hauled away. She does it for me.
I do it for you. I do
You
it
do
for
it for
everyone.
me.
I sure as hell don't do it for me.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Beth.
my aging body feels it, when I'm beat up by the Illinois State Police, which my friend Dave here was as well. I return to this idea of doing this with grace, and that it really, it's a gift to continue to be able to live in this space. And I love you,
I love
Peggy.
you. Thanks,
And-
Beth. Thanks for your work in the world.
Absolutely. And you too, Sister Peace.
Thank you.
Okay. Brother, I think we're a minute to close. You must do something magical.
I try to do it.
Little fireworks. There's a full
Wow.
moon. What more do you want?
Well, what better way to spend an afternoon than to listen to Larry's poetry? This has been wonderful. Peggy, we have a room for you here. When are you coming to visit?
It made me cry. You know that the two sisters came from Deer Park right after Larry passed,
Yeah.
and they brought bags of food. They brought gifts, and they even brought money. And I know you make a lot of money, brother. So that was really touching to me. And I was also given an invitation to come to Deer Park.
Anytime, anytime.
And I
For as long as you
really,
like.
really appreciate it, because the hardest voice is the one that says, I have no place.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
couldn't hear that. And but that helped. So thank you for sending the sisters, and Sister Chicken cooked nonstop. She sure
I heard
did.
about it. She told me.
Yes.
She cooked.
And Peggy ate. That
I
was the
ate.
whole plan. And Peggy ate.
She made this congee with fresh ginger. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah, I know.
That was so good. And she made different kinds of pho. And yeah. So thank you, brother, for saying yes to um, supporting Larry's poetry. I really believe it's a healing balm. And yeah, it's also to me a great testimony to our practice. I think one of the reasons I fell in love with Ty was we know he didn't have it easy. We know it wasn't easy to be not welcome back in his country. We know it wasn't easy to see his students and friends killed. We know it wasn't easy to come to the United States when the United States was trying to annihilate Vietnam, and yet he did. And I see my teacher in you, and a teacher in me, and I see Larry in you, and that gives me a lot of hope for my future, whatever it's going to be. There's another line that's in one of his poems that I'm in the changing room of my soul's department store, and I find myself there in that changing room. So thank you so much for honoring us by your presence, all of you, and anybody who listens to this full moon in December. And buy the book. His art is in it. And I think it's truly a beautiful book.
A
You want
beautiful,
to say,
a beautiful,
anything?
a beautiful gift for Christmas
A beautiful Christmas or Hanukkah
or Hanukkah or whatever
or
holidays.
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, yes.
Or Kwanzaa. Exactly.
But thanks, brother, for saying yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for the welcome. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, okay. So, should we finish with three sounds of the bell?
Perfect.
So we can come back to our breathing, back to our body, and see that we are the continuation body of Larry. Larry's teaching, his spirit, and his deep love and compassion for the world. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Thank you, Peggy, for your heart and your soul. Thank you, Sister Peace and Celeste and Sarah and everyone who made this possible.
Thank you, poetry readers. Beautiful readings. You can come. Oh, the flying hearts.
Mhm.
Oh, there's Linda.
Yeah, she is.
Laurie.